Okay. How much is the average pay for a person in your field?
I don't understand the question. How to elaborate on that?
Like the people in like that chose the same MOS as you. How much is the average pay for like an average person
Well,
in
we
you?
don't get paid different pay for MOS. No matter what your job is, we get paid by your rank. So basically, the pay scale goes all the way up from E1 to E9. Right now, I'm an E6. Entry level person coming in, basic pay is about 16 or $1,700 a month. You know, along with that, we get all the same military pay benefits. The pay scale is the same across the board, all military branches. So E1 in the Army makes the same thing as E1 in the Marine Corps, same thing Navy, Air Force, so on and so forth.
Did you go to college?
Not prior to going to the Marine Corps, and I don't have a degree right now, but I do have college credits. I've taken, I'm about eight credits shy of my associate's degree. I'm planning on probably trying to get me at least a bachelor's before I get out. It's just I go for free.
Okay. Um, why did you pick the Marine branch?
Why not? After I talked to the Marine recruiter, uh, it was like one of those things. Like he was telling me all about the story of the Marine Corps, the things that the Marine Corps done for us in the past, and one of the big. And I was like, hey, that sounds like something I want to be a part of. And he's telling about the camaraderie, the band of brothers, you know, being a team. Once a Marine, always a Marine, things like that. And I said, okay, that sounds pretty good. And then the thing he was like, I was real skinny at the time. He said, I don't know if you're gonna be able to do this. And I was like, oh, you really not gonna just tell me I'm not gonna be able to do it, unless you're not gonna let me do it. But and then I went home, I talked to my parents. My dad was like, man, you're not gonna be able to do that. So it was like for everybody out there that said, hey, you can't do it, I knew I had to go with that one. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's got to be something good over there. If everybody think it's too hard to do, I mean that's what I'm trying to go get.
Um, if you could go back, would you pick the same branch?
If I can go back 100 times, I'll pick the same branch 100 times.
What would you say about people who are deciding between the Army and the Marines?
I would say decide what's best for you. I think that all our other branches of the military are good at what they do. Everybody's great at what they do. The Marines, we take what everybody else does, and we can do everybody else's job. We operate on the ground, in the air, and on the water. We do a little bit of everything. Um, but above all that, like if you're looking for, hey, I want to be a communicator, I want to be a radio operator, right? Or let's say I want to be a computer programmer or something like that, right? If that's the only reason you want to come to the military, or like say I want to go to school, that's the only reason you want to do it, I would say go to the army. But because to be a Marine, first thing I'm gonna ever promise you is, hey, I can help you to be a Marine. Everything else is secondary. I'm gonna make sure you get a good job and all that stuff. But the first thing you gotta want to be a Marine because it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? If it's something that's hard, you're not even gonna do it. You're not even gonna want to stay motivated to do it if it's not something that you want to do initially. So I would say, hey, if you want to be a part of that team, part of that legacy, you know, you want to wear that uniform that we wear. You want to feel like, hey, I'm part of that team. You know what I mean? When you talk about junior varsity and in high school you got junior varsity, then varsity. I always looked at it like, hey, the Marine Corps was like, that's the varsity. I want to be on the varsity team. I don't want to play JV ball. So for me, that's how I look at it. I would just tell a person just like that, hey, do you want to be a Marine or do you not want to be a Marine? It's pretty much cut and dry. If you don't want to be a Marine first, go somewhere else.
Um, is your job hard to you?
My job it's hard at times. As far as doing my job is easy. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I know how to do it. I've done it so long, and it's repetition. I do the same thing. It's like when new problems come up, it can be hard. Like, man, hey, how I figure this out, figuring out new issues, trying to fix new problems, things like that. But that's the fun part about it for me. You know, just being a Marine, it's a lifestyle at this point. That's why I tell people all the time. You know, you join another branch, you become a Marine. It's different. If you hear somebody say, they'll say, hey, that person there in the Army, or they're in the Navy, or they're in the Air Force. And they say, hey, that's a Marine over there. You know, so and so, he a Marine. That's the difference. So it's not hard. It's second nature at this point.
Are you active duty or reserves?
I'm active duty.
Have you ever been in the reserves?
Navy.
Why not?
I just didn't choose to do the reserves. Being reserves, I would stay here locally. Being active duty, I went to stay somewhere else. I lived in lots of other countries. I lived in North Carolina, I lived in Okinawa, Japan. I visited Korea, the Philippines, Australia, Thailand. A few different spots in Africa, like Sierra Leone, Djibouti. You name it, I've probably been to a couple times. So I didn't want to stay home. I wanted to jump in feet first and just go for it, and that's what I did. If I'd stayed at home, I would have got the opportunity to be a Marine, but then I still got to deal with regular stuff here. I got to go get a job, or I got to go to school full time, or I got to go to school and get a job. Because reserves, you only go and do your job in the Marine Corps one weekend a month and 2 weeks in the summertime. That wasn't enough for me. And I wanted to get paid like every first and 15th.
So like when you guys travel in active duty, do you get free time in the other countries? Like, how does that work as far as you staying there and
Depends on whatever you're doing, but it's like usually, primarily if you're doing a training mission or something like that, you go out, you would do some training. Now, after your training is over, before everybody would retrograde back, they would give everybody like, 2 to 4 days off, and you go out, and look around the city, enjoy the city, do some shopping, do a little bit of partying, and come on back.
Have you ever been to war?
Yes.
If you don't mind, could you tell me which wars that you were in?
I've been to Iraq, and I've been to Afghanistan. And I went to Kosovo.
How many more years do you plan to stay in the Marines?
At the most, 5 more years. 20 years, I'll be retired. I'll be retired right before my 39th birthday.
How do you think if we fight back in the war against Korea would affect you? Like, Korea just declared war on us, so if we fight back, how do you think it would affect you?
Did they declare war on us?
Or that's what the news said. So.
They declared war on South Korea.
Yeah.
Okay. But it wouldn't affect me, really. I'll just do my same job. I'm on recruiting duty right now. If we're still involved in that conflict once I leave recruiting duty, it wouldn't bother me at all. I just go to whatever unit I'm going to, and if we got deployment going on, I just train with those guys and be ready to leave. It's not really a big deal like that to me. Like I said, I said the Marine Corps is like a family. It's like you can go to almost any Marine Corps unit. You go from one unit to the next. And it's like, eventually when you first get there, it's like, I don't really know nobody. But you give it like a month, maybe 2 months, and you talk to those guys just like you talk to your own family members back at home. Like, we don't really hold no punch. We just go for it. So it wouldn't really bother me too much to answer your question. I would just do my job as usual.
Okay. Well, that's pretty much it.
That's it?
Yeah, for the questions for my